Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is Friday the 12th of April and we'll start with Apple this morning as stock of the day. Of course, there are a lot of to talk about other stocks too, Nvidia and so on. I'll do that a little bit later. But Apple, massive bounce off support around 167 yesterday. We had this support area down here, as you can see, those two lines going back to October last year. Really strong bounce yesterday, around 4-5%. No, actually more than that up. But anyway, also broke this upper falling trend line and now has potential up to, should have potential up to around 179, possibly. Well, maybe a little bit higher if it really can this motor together, but this area here around 178-79 is key the next few days. If it can close above 60 on the RSI, then there could be further upside potential, also medium term for Apple. So maybe that is the reversal of the trend there. Moving on to the markets, they were quite interesting. We had a little bit bounce yesterday in S&P 500, still in this consolidation. I mean, we uptrend, you can say it's intact and it's not intact. I mean, I would say we do have a short-term little bit of a correction here, but the key support 5,057, we are not even near to test that. I would actually draw a trend line right there or a support line right there at 5,146. If it does close below that one, well, then we have a move down to the 5,000 level. Nasdaq 100, really strong move yesterday. If it takes out its previous peak at this one, let's move over there very quickly. There we are, 18,438. If we're moving above that, well, then the uptrend has resumed, and we are also likely to see this the RSI back above the 60 threshold, i.e. we will be back in positive sentiment, confirming a possible move up to around 18,800-ish. Key support still 17,800. So that is also those levels to keep an eye on. Stocks 50 actually did close below its minor support at 4,976 yesterday, but now we are back above. So let's see what it can do here the next couple of days. And we can get a clue if we look at the falling trend line here on the RSI that it actually broke above. I think we need adjusting a little bit, actually testing it. There we are. Testing it at the moment. If it moves back above 60 threshold, well, then we are likely to see the EUROSTOXX 50 index pushing towards the previous peak just above 5,100. If we see another push lower below 49.76, well, then I would say we are looking at 4,900. DAX bounced off its low rising trend line here. We can remove that one. So low rising trend line and 17,900 support. Still in an uptrend. We had a little bit of correction. If it can move a little bit higher and if we get RSI back above 60, well, then we are likely to see a push higher. There's no divergence on the RSI, so it's actually indicating the DAX index could move higher in coming weeks. What is actually moving higher is the AEX. So Amsterdam listed stocks, they're actually doing pretty well. We are looking at 912, 913. That is the next target level, possibly higher. So really strong there. 872, we were not near testing that support level. Moving on to CAC, struggling a little bit, but opening a little bit higher today. Excuse me. If it can move back above 8,189, and I think we will try to do that the next couple of, and I'm not going into next week, I'm not quite sure that we will do that, because we are actually a little bit in a downtrend here, short-term key support down here, 7,875. So let's see here the next couple of days. It's a little bit up in the air, but I wouldn't be surprised if DAX and EUROSTOXX is moving high. Of course, CAC will be dragged along with it. Swiss market is struggling a little bit, hovering around the 11,500. So it could be caught range bound between 11,600 and 11,380, 85. Here in the next couple of days, if it can get back above 11,595, well, then we could see it resuming uptrend. Interesting moves in euro dollar. That is really heavy at the moment. It is going through a lot of the supports. Now it's also below 107 or 106.95. I think we will see 106.60 being tested possibly today. We have 138.2 projection also from this little bit of correction here. If we do close above, then we are looking at 106 level on euro dollar. Cable. Excuse me. Cable currently testing support at 125. It has potential to move lower. We can also see the moving averages are actually pushing lower here. So 124.10, 123.75 key strong support could be tested here on the short term. Not today, but in coming week or weeks. Dollar yen. Sideways a little bit, but we are in an uptrend after this break here the other day, Wednesday. Bullish sentiment, potential up to 154.25, possibly up higher above 155, unless the Japanese central bank decides to really intervene. But then a little bit out of our hands. We have Euro-yen testing the 61.8 retracement at 163.59. I think it could dip down to the 786 retracement at 163.15 and possibly testing this lower rising trend line here. I'm not quite sure we will test the lows here, but it's not unlikely given that we had the divergence here on the RSI. So it's actually pointing to that as a possibility. So, but check out what will happen around the 163 level. That will be likely to be key. Aussie yen, well, I think we'll be caught range bound a little bit. 99.20 support. We are in an uptrend, but it's a little bit stressed. So I wouldn't be. I'm a little bit unsure here, and sometimes I am unsure. And then it's better to sit on your hands and wait a little bit. What's actually going on? If it can move back above 100 and 150, well, then I think we are pushing higher, and below 99, then we are lower. Sterling yen, also a little bit undecisive sideways trend here. Which way should we go? Is it the yen moving? Is it the sterling moving? I want to see it breaking above 193.50 for a bullish move, but we could also see it sliding lower towards the 190 key support. So those two yen pairs, they are really not up for play at the moment, not in my mind at least. Aussie dollar, 64.85 could be tested. We are below all moving averages, so it's not like if it does break below a second time, no, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth time, well, then that could be it. Dollar Canada, very close to test the 786 retracement at 137.45. If it takes at that, well, there's not really much stopping around until around 139. So it is actually on a bullish move at the moment. Finally, dollar Swiss, very quickly, just hovering around 91, 20, 30 level, still potential up to 92.45. Finally, on the dollar index, I feel confident that we will be testing the 105.75 resistance here around that level. You can see it's not clear which one, but it's around that level fairly shortly. Moving on to commodities, and let's have a look at gold to start with. Correction yesterday, this top and reversal, bearish engulfing, was cancelled before the end of the day yesterday, and now we are propelling higher on gold. And how far can we actually go? Well, if we're looking at with a little bit bigger picture here, so this is the monthly chart of a gold spot. We have what we call a cup, or what seems like a cup, and a handle. It's not the most perfect handle because normally it wouldn't have that spike up there, but still a handle. So what I have done, I have taken that from the bottom of the cup to the top of the handle, and then from here, and then extended upwards, and then it gives us some indicative targets at 786 extension, and that's 786 of this bottom to top here. That gives us 2475, and 100% of that is 2645. What we can also do, we can also do a projection more or less in the same way, just going directly to right there. Well, then we are looking at possibly around 2710. I'm not quite sure we'll get there, but I think we will in the medium term, within a few weeks, we could reach 2645. But let's see what happens when we reach 2425. And it seems like we are destined to move there, possibly before the end of the day. It really seems like we are in a slightly panicking mode. If we're moving on to silver, that is also moving higher, and I wouldn't be surprised if we test the 30 level before the end of the day. And you can see here that is the previous peak here, just around 30.10, and very close. This is the monthly chart. If we check out that, well, then there's not really much stopping it until we actually move a little bit higher towards these levels around here, which is around 34, 35. It is dragging the platinum along with it, and here we have it on daily chart very close to be testing previous peaks here at 10.15. If we change to a weekly chart, well, then we can see where we are. If it takes out that, and if we do close above the weekly cloud and above the RSI 60 threshold, well, then there's potential much higher on platinum. Not much to say about copper today, so I'm skipping that, and it's a really long one. But copper is being dragged along. Now let's have a look at it. Sorry, let's just do that. You can see it actually moving higher, new highs above 433. Not much stopping it until around 447-ish level. So I think we will move in that direction the next the coming weeks. Finally, on the US 10-year yields, US Treasury yields, let's have a look here. Stopped just before the 460 level. Could be testing 450 from the upper side, but we are in a bullish trend with no divergence or anything, so we could move to 470 in the coming weeks. All right, that's all for today. Happy trading and have a nice weekend.